about this, Rick. Oh,
Just read it, Morty.
Welcome to Rotten Potatoes Movie and TV Reviews, where we review movies and TVs.
Is anyone here even real? Am I the only real person on Earth? I want to die!
Welcome back. No, not welcome back. Welcome to the first ever episode of Rick and Morty Recaps with myself, Dan Spots of the Systems Down podcast, and, of course, my cohort, Brian McWilliams from the Lions of Liberty. Brian, how are you?
I am dynamite. Rick and Morty is back. As you know, I am on record as saying Rick and Morty was the most libertarian show on television. The only question that remains is, will it remain so in this new season?
Yes.
Season 4.
And as you pointed out, strange that it was the most libertarian show, given the fact that the creators are definitely not that way.
No. Ultra progressive honks.
Sure. So we're talking about season 4, episode 1, the premiere. I don't have the title written down. Do you know what it is?
Fuck, you know what? I don't.
All right. It's titled episode 1 of season 4. Brian, you wanna break into it?
Hold on, wait. Let's talk about Edge of Morty, Rick Die Repeat. That was it. More. I think it's called the short way, Rick Die Repeat, because Rick dies a shitload of times in this. And of course, we all know Edge of Tomorrow, which is a great show. You've seen, or a great movie. Have you watched Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise?
I don't believe I have.
Oh man, it's actually, I enjoy Tom Cruise despite his Scientology roots. I don't judge, but it's a really good film. Like very, very well done. Keeps you in the entire time. Yeah, just a great sci-fi feature.
Cool.
All right, so
Rick and Morty.
Rick, back to Rick and Morty. So Rick Die Repeat. And let me pull up my notes here real quick. So there's the A plots, B plots. I'll run through it if you want real quick.
Sure.
Number one, well, before I get into it, I want to say the cold opener was one of the crappiest cold opens I've ever seen for this show. It was just
pretty much. It was basically just Rick at breakfast, and they're telling him to be nice, and that's it.
That was it. And some some passing reference to Instagram that's not going to age well and be very dated in like 3 years. Not
the
funny.
Only chuckle was at was the very last thing with Summer trying to kill her dad, but even that was like a half joke.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, we had Rick and Morty. They're back. They're back, baby. So they go on a journey. Rick and Morty, right? And then Rick has to explicitly get permission from Morty now to take him on journeys because of the way that they worked it out. Can't just force him into things. So
I don't remember how the last season ended. Does that relate to something that happened at the end of the last season?
You know what? I'm trying to remember, man, because they went through that whole arc of the Rick ending the world and they're like the family's being hunted down, and then he crashes the whole citadel of Ricks into the bug colony, which was great. Very libertarian because he takes down the society by making the value of the currency zero. Yeah. But I can't remember exactly how the last season ended either. And if I had more time,
I think it was just something to do with him trying to get Summer back, and which that's one thing that I've always liked about this show is that it touches on the dark, very serious stuff, and like it'll make you laugh and cry both at the same time. And I'm pretty sure that's how they left off, is just him finally getting not Summer, Mom, whatever her name is, back.
Oh yeah. His daughter. Yeah, I think that's what it was too. Is he realizes he has to rein it in, and he's got to stop trying to tear the family apart. But yeah, so I don't know. Whatever they arranged an agreement where he now has to get permission to take Morty on adventures. So takes him off. They go hunting for what they call death crystals, which allow you to see how you will die, and you can use these in a clever fashion, as we see in the episode, to see if you know how you're going to die. And it's in a myriad out of ways because, with free choice and all, you can die at any way by any number of hands. So you put the crystal on, it shows you how you're going to die, and you just kind of go through until you see, I'm not going to die this one way. So you go that route. So they use that to their advantage.
It shows you how you're going to die. So Morty's just following it around, trying to live in a way that will make him die with Jessica. And that's
exactly. Yeah, he has sees one possible outcome, which was pretty funny. I could see it coming a mile away, but still pretty funny as the outcome. We'll get to that. So, so that's the A plot, is Morty Rick ends up dying early, right? Because Morty wants to follow his path to Jessica and ends up crashing the spacecraft, and Rick dies. However, he's got a backup plan which reincarnates him and in a clone body. So the only catch is that it's in all these different universes. So that's Rick's plot. The other plot is Morty trying to go on this path so that he ends up with Jessica, which takes him from being, from making short decisions in high school into the only path that's going to lead to him having this long life and having Jessica at his side when he dies saying, "I love you, Morty," which he sees, is to become what they call, Akira, like the anime.
Right.
He becomes this super-powered Akira-like individual that is massacring people throughout, just kind of like to make sure that he gets his way, and he's following it very specific paths. And again, it's very similar to the South Park review that you guys probably heard us do, if you're good fans, where we talked about, the parallels of these episodes is pretty amazing to me, right? Because you've got two trials, you've got two people dealing with what they view as fascist societies, because Rick continues to appear in fascist societies, right? Every time he's like reborn in these different dimensions. And then you have them both kind of getting off in this weird way. So I don't know. It was kind of funny. That's the basic story arc. And of course, at the end, Rick ends up in his own body. He ends back cloned in the proper dimension, and we start anew, as so typically happens with sitcoms.
Yep. As so typically happens with this show, especially almost every episode. But it's Rick keeps dying and keeps popping up into different dimensions, and there's like a shrimp dimension, a wasp dimension, and every time he's like, oh, this could be fine, and then they end up being fascists. Yeah. And which brings the line of what was it? You just said something about why is this what?
But are you talking about the similarities between the South Park and this episode? That one,
I don't know. Go ahead.
I will say just on that. Well, we'll run through a few things, but at the end of all this, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Rick ends up in a wasp body. And of course, we all know wasp is white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And naturally, they have to take a shot at the white people, which also happened with South Park because they had the whites in South Park trying to help Trump.
Until just now, I didn't catch that.
Oh, really? Go on, Dan. Jesus.
Well, I was in a hurry. I forgot to watch this episode until right before we started recording, and wasn't. I don't know. My brain wasn't there. I wasn't in outrage mode.
Oh boy! So. All right. Well, let me run through this then.
Now I have to rethink about this entire episode.
you might just have to. Well, probably everybody out there is going to be like, "God damn it!" and have to watch it again, and then they'll get pissed off like I am, because Rick and Morty, for the most part, and the reason I love the show was that
they're eating the black guy. Shit.
What's
they're eating the black guy too.
Yeah, they are eating the black guy.
It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, they eat the black teacher as wasps. But Rick and Morty, for the most part, I liked it because it wasn't. I think it was accidentally libertarian because, like we said, they are both Dan Harmon and Justin Raimondo. Dan Harmon and what the fuck's his name?
Roiland.
Justin Roiland. Yeah. They are both hyper progressives. Yet the character of Rick was exceptionally libertarian and did things which we would agree with as libertarians, as far as personal property, personal freedom, taking down the government, avoiding social systems that take away your personal identity, that kind of thing. Yet we've got this episode which really fucking pissed me off and they even acknowledge it in the episode, right? So they have Rick's first time he gets killed. He appears in this new fascist world, and a little fascist Morty kills the other Rick, the fascist Rick from that world, because he wants to have fun. And of course, instead of, it's not real fun though, it's fascist fun. But he goes, that Rick was too political. I just want to go back to having fun like the old Rick and Mortys, which we're all like, yes, do that. Don't be fucking political, please. It's annoying as shit. Just give us a good show. But no, they couldn't do that. This is by far the most political Rick and Morty that has ever fucking been made.
It's true. And now that you have pointed out the wasp thing to me, I liked the episode before you pointed that out. And now I'm liking it less the more I think about it, which is unfortunate. But I mean, if you take that away, then it's like just different, different dimensions, and they don't like fascism. Which
Well-
I don't understand why people like this are pushing for socialism and then saying Trump is an evil fascist dictator. Like,
Yeah.
do you want it or do you not want it? I'm confused.
Dude, I have no goddamn idea. I mean, I made a note. The one thing in the beginning where they find the death crystals, they have crystal poachers, and Rick goes, crystal poachers, Morty. They think the galaxy is their piggy bank, and I'm thinking to myself, like fucking socialists do. You do
Right.
all the work getting the crystals, and then the socialists come in and say, "Oh, give us what you made, and let's give it to everybody. Take it away."
Right.
But I would want to say, one thing that was pretty funny, although again got a little bit too. I don't know. Well, let me know your thoughts on this. So they have a holographic Rick, like it's an AI that was programmed to come in and help Morty make a clone of Rick, and Morty does not make a clone of Rick in his own dimension because if he does that, he won't end up with Jessica. So that's why Rick keeps going to these other dimensions. So what he does, he has this AI holographic.
Holographic.
I keep saying holophonic. Holographic
Holophobic.
Rick.
Afraid of holographs.
Yeah, because he calls Morty a holophobe. That's why I have it written down. I kept saying it. So holographic Rick is being such a sensitive bitch to everything in the quote unquote real world, which was pretty funny. And then a line that cracked me up, which I think defines the tolerance of the left, is that he goes, "Look, Morty, I'm programmed for tolerance, so I am willing to accept you're doing this if you're willing to stop." It just is like dead on tolerance from the left. Like, oh yeah, be tolerant, but you have to stop everything you're doing to agree with us.
Right.
But I'm tolerant of your viewpoints.
That's what it sounds like. Now you mentioned it. I didn't catch that, but it's what it seems like. But it's confusing with the rest of the message in this entire episode. Then.
Yeah. So it was a little bit at odds, but it was pretty funny to Rick talking about he has a lot of pretty good lines, but he has lines about how hurtful it is for him that you and your flesh body are going off and doing these other things. Oh, density privileged entities, which was pretty funny.
Right.
That was a funny line. And then, like I was saying, when he kills off fascist Rick, so he goes, this first world fascist, human fascism, and then it goes into like shrimp fascists and teddy bear fascists. But he held them hostage to have fun. And then I had to ask myself, is this a complaint that we're letting fascism take over while complaining everybody else is too political? And but then Rick later, he says, he keeps going these different dimensions, and he goes, since when did fascism become the default?
Right.
And that to me, I'm like,
that's the line that I was looking for.
Yeah, right. And it's like, okay, does that their political view? Do they actually think that fucking fascism is the default right now in America? Because
right.
Anyway, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Are they saying that fascism is the default, like we're stuck in fascism, or are they saying fascism is the default, like everybody thinks everything is fascism? I mean, I don't know. It's confusing as to where they're going with this, but I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it definitely seemed as though they were saying that, and again, maybe this is just me knowing that they are progressives, but
right,
because they kept having him go to fascist worlds, saying that this is the de facto, that fascism, the default is them being like, we live in a fascist government right now under Donald Trump, which of course is fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculous. Everybody's just as free as they were before, if not freer now that some of the spying programs have been canceled. So,
yeah.
And again, it's just so odd because, when you anywhere else you look, any of these other countries that are far more socialist or that are run by the left, leftists, they are far more authoritarian. They are far more fascist than you would say.
Dictators.
They have dictators. Yeah, they have fucking dictators. And if they don't start as dictators, they always end as dictators.
Right.
So I don't know, just confusing.
Show me a capitalist country that has a fascist dictator. I mean, outside of obviously the United States. I just don't understand. Like, how can you, again, like I said with the South Park thing, like these people clearly have their thumb on the pulse of like politics and culture and everything. How do you come to these conclusions?
They live in Los Angeles, man. They fucking live in Los Angeles. That's the only thing I can think.
Don't you live in Los Angeles?
I do, but I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not in the industry yet. Maybe I'll become a brainwashed goon once I become successful. But everybody they talk to probably agrees. I mean, like people I know in real life legitimately believe that we are in a fascist authoritarian regime right now. But they really believe it.
Yeah, we need to do you need to fly me out there. We'll do a man on the street thing where you walk around, just interview people and be like, explain. Just tell me. I'm willing to concede that you might be right. Now tell me, like the reverse of Stephen Crowder's changed my mind. Just tell me what you think. Like,
break it down for me.
Explain how this is fascist, because mean tweets I don't understand. But
also, by the way, last South Park, the Halloween episode, they had a big thing about gaslighting, and they had gaslighting in here on this episode too.
I did catch that. Yeah,
fucking thematic, man.
What's going on here?
He said same writers of those shows here. Yeah, because they had a quick cut to the news story where I don't know. He'd said something. We're going to talk about this, but first, this other story. And she's like, the female was bitching out the male newscaster, and she's like, "You're gaslighting." He's like, "Gaslighting doesn't exist. You made it up because you're fucking crazy." And then they cut away with it, which I thought was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
But yeah, coming back. So at the end, Morty goes, because there's not really that much to tell on Morty's side of the thing. He just kind of kills everybody to get to his path.
Right.
But Rick does end up, after going to several different places and killing himself, he kills himself, either gets killed or he kills himself because he doesn't want to live in a fascist world. He ends up in a dimension where they're wasp monsters. And it's basically Wasp, Rick, and the whole family. And he comes through, and the guy's like, "Oh, yeah, we're wasps." And he goes, "Oh, so why are you being so nice?" The wasps, and he tells them about how wasps eat their prey alive. Otherwise, they inject their eyeballs full of their larvae, and they let them eat their brain and explode out to propagate the species.
Yeah.
And Rick goes, "Well, if you're wasps, why are you being so nice to me?" And, of course, this fucking cringe-ass motherfucking line, man, is the wasp Rick goes, "Well, we're born such pieces of shit, so we need to have a little empathy."
Wow. Yeah. I didn't even write down that line because it wasn't... I wasn't getting the undertones, but holy shit.
Yeah. So I just, of course, I'm lying on my couch watching this, making giant jerk off motions to myself, like fucking get me the fuck out of here with this over the top bullshit. I'm just like, okay, how many fucking shows am I gonna goddamn watch, man? Where they're like, white people are evil, like that fucking Prodigal Son
made by
show.
White people, made by both shows made by two straight white dudes.
Yeah. Like, we're big pieces of shit. Better have some empathy. Okay, thank you. We have plenty of empathy. Thank you very much. I don't believe that people are pieces of shit based solely upon their skin color or not. Just aggravating, man. So
it started to, I don't know, when they were eating the black dude for dinner. Basically, I was like, is there something here that I'm missing? Like, because the wasp thing was over my head apparently, and I was like, is there like some commentary here, or does it just happen to be the black teacher? But no, it was there.
Yep, it was right there. They're feeding off the living. Of course, they eat, because they're wasps, they eat them alive, so they're eating a living black man on the table, and he says, "Just please kill me," and they won't kill him. It's a fucking. I was so unbelievably disappointed in this fucking episode. Now, of course, the wasp does end up saving them.
But now I am.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I went through the first time and watched it today, taking notes and being like, motherfucker. And then I went back and I said, okay, let me just try to watch this as a normie, and I got about halfway through. I mean, it's still got entertaining stuff. And of course, in the end, Rick and Morty, Rick's back to normal. He's back in his own dimension, but Morty finds out that Jessica, he's like around the corner, and Jessica goes, like, he keeps seeing himself as an old man, and Jessica's over him like, "I love you, Morty, I love you." And he thinks he's going to end up with her, but it turns out that she goes, "You know what I want to do with my life when I'm older is I just want to go to hospice care to dying people and just tell them I love you over and over again." So it turns out he was never going to be with her, and he had turned down skinny dipping with her at one point. Because Morty, because of the death crystal, he would start talking and then wait for the crystal to kind of tell him which way to go word by word, which got him out of the murder trial when he killed all the people. And then he made some bizarre sound on TV just because the crystal kind of told him the vowel sounds to make that would win him. So the crystal just showed him how he would die in that moment. So that's always kind of funny to wrap it. Although, again, you could see it coming.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. And it ended with the classic Rick and Morty like premiere. They always do like this garage meta rant thing.
Oh, yeah.
Setting it up, and they basically did the exact same thing again, which I thought was fine and funny. And then the sister, whose name I can never remember, comes
Summer,
in.
yeah.
Summer, yeah, she comes in and interrupts it, and which was funny. There was some funny stuff in it, and I would say overall, not like if I unplugged myself from the commentary, it was funny. It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I even wrote down it was refreshing after watching so much South Park. But
I'm glad I could ruin that for you.
Yeah, I gave it an A-, and now I give it much lower, and I'll have to think about it for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I still it was still I think it was still funnier than South Park, and it still had the stuff you like in it. You know, it had the over the top, yelling and the grotesqueness was funny, and it still was entertaining. But yeah, this episode was over the top for me.
It's a better show
with the
than
messaging.
South Park at this point.
At this time, it definitely is. Yeah,
but it's saying the same thing apparently, so that's fun.
Yeah, you can't ignore the themes that are in both very prevalently, and can't help rolling your fucking eyes at them. Where again, I'm just sick of being hit over the head with media trying to give a goddamn sermon to me.
Right. Now, in the end, the monster Rick, the monster combines with the hologram Rick, and then Wasp Rick kills him and saves the day. Is there anything there that I missed?
I don't know. I wrote that down too. I wrote down that wasps are, we're wasps. Now they do say we're wasps, not monsters at one point. So maybe they're trying to at the same time be like,
That's
okay,
so
we're
nice.
but we're not monsters. But and then I said, yet the wasp saves them. So so they're born pieces of shit, but they're not monsters. Saves them in the end. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. But they're trying to have their cake and eat it too a little bit there, which is fine. I mean, you want to show both sides, but again, it's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not really showing both sides. It's saying you suck, and but you're not the devil incarnate. That's right. That's the only olive branch will extend.
Yeah,
and by you, I mean we, because they're the ones who made it, and they're white dudes. So
yep. God damn it, another package. This is like the third package that's come while we've been recording this. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Good Lord. All right.
I know, fucking Ellen. Okay, we're back. Sorry, a lot of baby registry shit's being delivered to my house right now, so it's like constant.
That's code for drug exchange.
Oh God, I wish. Get some of those teddy bears that they sew all the cocaine into.
Yep. Speaking of teddy bears, I did enjoy when he showed up in the teddy bear world, and he's like, fascist? I'm like, yep. And he just like slammed his face into a piece of glass.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I also don't want to live in a real fascist world. So I agree with them that fascism fucking sucks, but I just have it in my heart that they are, when they said, why is fascism the default? That was what, just kind of triggered me. So I was like, God damn it, fuckers, man.
Yeah. Fascism is the default if we go down the route that you're pushing for. So
yeah. Now maybe I'm interpreting it wrong. Maybe they're fully saying that fascism is evil and thus leftism is evil, but I don't think so.
maybe they just simply don't like wasps, the bugs themselves, and you're digging too deep into this, Brian.
I may be, but why do these reviews if we're not going to dig deep?
I'm totally joking. I'm sure you're not digging too deep into this. I should be. I can't believe that went totally over my head, but that's disappointing.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch it again. Maybe see if you watch it again before we record our next episode, you can see if you agree with if watching it in that way again, if you're like, okay,
I'm sure you're right.
Or if you're like, nah.
I'm sure you're right, because I did make the connection with eating the black guy and some of the stuff that they were saying that I was like, what's going on here? And throwing the wasp thing in there. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But what do you give it on an AB scale?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to take my political bent out of it, I'm going to say that I'd give it a B, probably.
Yeah.
decent, not great. I was hoping the first episode would be a little bit funnier. It's not as good as some of the other Rick and Morty's that have been out there, but yeah, decent. Big.
Yeah.
What about you?
Like I said, I gave it an A- without noticing the evil undertones. But if I just based on entertainment value, I'd give it an A-. Based on propaganda value, I'd give it a D. So there's that.
Well, we'll see where it goes.
But again, like content-wise and just like storytelling-wise and threading two narratives together and everything, coming off of so much South Park, like it still was refreshing to watch, even with the propaganda in there.
Yeah, I agree. The craftsmanship was far better in that regard, and the comedy was much better in that regard.
Agreed. And now let's post this. Are we going to put this out for free? First one's free.
I think we should. Cocaine? Yeah, I think we should. We do the first one for the common man, and then we'll put it behind the paywall.
Well, common man, I'm sure you have a lot of angry things to say in the YouTube comments, just like the first season of South Park, because we're big old libertarian sticks in the mud. But if you're not in either of our groups and you like what you heard and you don't get offended by people who think, you consider supporting by going to patreon.com/the system is down to support my channel, or patreon.com/Lions of Liberty to support Brian's channel and the Lions of Liberty. And you'll get a bunch of bonus content, all sorts of backlog content, and weekly episodes released, and all sorts of fun stuff. Brian, any final thoughts?
That's it. Just Dan, you and I, forever. 100 more episodes of Rotten Potatoes going on and on. Yes, we can do that. We're going to have some drugs. We're going to have some kids. Now, come on. It's like the end of Rick and Morty. Come on. Go with me here. You're supposed to chime in.
I'm sorry, Brian.
There you go. Thank you. Jesus Christ,
Brian.
God damn it, Dan. I got to keep doing these with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian.
All right. That's it. All right, Dan, you're a piece of shit. To all of you out there, you're a piece of shit, too. We'll see you later.
Ricky Ticky Tavi, bitch! And that's the way the news goes.